Hi, this is Ray with 8Base, and today I'm talking with Marcus Bointon. Marcus, thanks for sitting down and having a chat with me.
That's all right.
Why don't you tell us about who you are, who you work for, and what you do?
Okay, I'm Marcus. I'm most of the time a PHP and Laravel developer. I'm also heavily into open source and privacy and security stuff. I mainly work for a bunch called Club Zero, which has a tracking system for reusable food containers. So we do lots of QR code scanning and mobile apps, and I've been maintaining the API that backs those apps. I also have an email marketing company called smartmessages.net. This just really explains my background, which is heavily into email of all descriptions. So I'm the maintainer of PHP Mailer, which most of the world has used at some point. It's got just like 40 million downloads, and crazily, it's got nearly 10,000 forks on GitHub, which is completely ridiculous.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So email and I do pen test editing and reviewing for a pen test agency in Amsterdam, and I'm something of a privacy advocate in general.
So you keep yourself quite busy.
Yeah, I do lots of different things. And
I'm sure you enjoyed the keynote from Laura.
I did. Laura's keynote was fantastic. I really enjoyed that. And I've been chatting to her in the expo earlier on, and she's really nice. So.
Yeah, definitely.
I made some really nice Lego.
Yes, her table is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Are you new to ConFoo? Is this your first year that you've been here?
No, this is my 4th time in person, and I've did their virtual one last year. I was on holiday in Copenhagen at the time and did it from the place we were staying.
Still managed to work even while you were on holiday.
Yeah.
So
that was quite cool.
I take it you enjoy ConFoo then? If you keep
I do, and I get on well with Jan because we're both really into skiing. Always helps because I live in the French Alps. So even though I'm originally British, I got French nationality last year. It's my Brexit escape plan. Yeah. But yeah, I really like ConFoo. I like that it's really broad. And it means I meet people that are like way outside my usual sort of community, because I'm normally writing with sort of PHP and Laravel people. I went to the Java users meet at Ubisoft, which was really cool. And I've met people doing all kinds of stuff that I don't normally get exposed to. So it's just really nice. And I like that about ConFoo, that it's so random in some ways, but it's still all tech.
Diverse in more ways than one, to be honest.
Yeah, it's good.
So pivoting to low code, what's your experience with low code?
I've always been very much like I want to see the code in front of me. I started off programming BASIC on Commodore PETs in the early 80s because I'm relatively old. But so I did use some of the very early kind of low-code things like Ball and Delphi I dabbled with for a while. And various, for a long time I was in sort of multimedia production, doing things like Macromedia Director. There was a peculiar thing called Metropolis, which was a weird kind of point-and-click, draggy, droppy, but with also a scripting language built into it that eventually collapsed and everything went back to Director. But I've also... Then I got into using PHP a lot more, and so I was just quite happy using just straight coding stuff. I'm just quite happy with that. But I've also used some of the things like Yahoo Pipes. That was like one of the quite early things like that. I could never get it to work very well, and it was you'd set something up and it would work for a bit and then it would just stop working. And I have a little company in the UK that's responsible for our email marketing thing. But one of the other things we do is we're the UK partners for a CRM system called One CRM. And that, a few years ago, added support for Zapier. And that was cool. But they also added support for, what's it called? It's like Integromat, which became make.com. Which is a much better domain name. Must have cost them a fortune. But again, both of those are quite nice in the way they work, and you can expose an API to Zapier and so on. But some of the problems I had with that were really that it was difficult to get on board. As if you wanted to offer an API that Zapier could integrate with, they made it really difficult. I found this with quite a lot of other companies that do reverse integrations where they can integrate with your thing rather than vice versa. But sometimes it's hard to actually get them to do it. They go, you don't have enough market presence, we're not going to bother, kind of thing. It's look, I'll write it for you if you could just tell me how you want it. So it means that some of these things have quite a barrier to entry, that if the solutions you're looking for are not present on their platform, then it's difficult. You can't just write an adapter for whatever other API you might want to integrate with. So you're stuck with the things that they support. The other things I don't like about Zapier is that it's US based. and there are all kinds of legal and privacy problems with effectively you're going to be exporting data to the US and then coming back out again, and suddenly you've got problems with jurisdictions and GDPR and so on. These are problematic. Integromat/Make is better for that because it's EU based. Okay. But still, there's also it's yet another third-party processor to handle your effectively somebody else's personal data, especially if you're looking at things like CRM, where there's often quite a lot of data attached to the information with people. And the other thing is that your solution is tied to them. That if they disappear, then so does your solution. And these companies rise and fall. And from that perspective, I'm happier talking directly to APIs, plus I'm happy writing code anyway. And also, there are quite a lot more tools now that make it easier to talk to third-party APIs. In PHP, there's things like Saloon, which specializes in making simplified adapters for external APIs, so you can treat things in a very consistent way across multiple heterogeneous APIs. So it's not a low code, but it's lower code.
I see, yeah.
It provides some abstractions for you.
So it sounds, if you were to pick a low-code platform, some of the things that would be key for you are easy for integrations.
Yeah.
Maybe the ability for you to write your own integrations.
Yeah.
Okay. Location, specifically data storage and data transfer locations.
Yeah.
Okay. And maybe customization as well, it sounded.
Yeah, I've seen some things, particularly on Zapier, where it exposes some service or other, but you find it's actually only a small subset of what their actual API offers. So you might find that you're doing like a mailing list system or something, and you might find that it lets you like add and remove subscribers, but you can't do something like check to see if somebody's already on the list. Or, there might be some little thing missing, and you end up having to talk to their API directly instead of doing it through this automation platform that's meant to make it simpler, but ends up making it harder because you've got to do things in two places. So the quality of the integrations varies as well. Some people have gone all the way, and others have just done very minimal effort.
Okay, cool. Thanks for having a chat with me. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about, or anything you'd like to...
Reuse and recycle, this is always a good thing. So that's my coffee cup tracking thing. That's London only at the moment, though. I'm looking forward to doing my open source talk tomorrow, which is all about sort of life of a maintainer and things. Just something I've had quite a lot of exposure to. Looking forward to that. I've been getting more involved in kind of community efforts in open source and so on. The GitHub community managers and things are actually really quite proactive. They've been quite good for that. Kicking myself for going over time on my talk today.
That's a problem we all have.
Next time,
That's always a good problem to have.
You always feel a bit panicked as you're just running out of time. No, this isn't good.
Okay, thank you for your time, for having a chat.
Okay, thank you.